And now I'd like to welcome the class speaker, the commencement speaker, who was the class president for the last term, Mr. Beno.
Well, first, thank you, Dean Ellis, faculty, staff, family, friends, alumni, and the class of 2017. Fight on, fight on! When I was announced as the commencement speaker, I thought, my goodness, how am I going to give a commencement speech in English? Because in Portuguese it would be sufficiently hard. In front of professors, staff, and 48 Masters of Business Administration graduates. Look at these people. Master Masaki. Arigato, Masaki-san. Master Jishnu. Namaste. Master Eduardo El Papacito. Master Kate. Master Nico. Look at you, Nico. You're an MBA now, my friend. Master George. Master Ashish. These people are amazing, folks. I'm honored and humbled to be chosen as the commencement speaker from such an elite and prestigious group of people. Thank you, Nayara, my beautiful and faithful wife, for taking care of our home so patiently, and for giving me, exactly 1 year ago, an extra motivation to live, my son Miguel. Thank you, my family that watches in Brazil. Thank you, Father, for your unconditional support. And thank you, IBER MBA class of 2017. Well, let's see what I can do. This MBA program reminds me of war. Yes, a kind of quick and intense battle. It also reminds me of 3 words that were proffered by General Julius Caesar around 47 before Christ. He said, Vini, Vidi, and Vici. In Italian, it means we came, we saw, and we conquered. Julius Caesar was standing in front of the Roman Senate after he had achieved a swift and conclusive victory in the Battle of Zilla, and he was back home at that moment. Tonight, my friends, we can stand up and look into everyone's eyes. In this room, we use the same words. We came, we saw, and we conquered. We came from all corners of the world with distinct cultures, language, and leadership styles. Some of us left the families in our home countries to join this group of men and women, all with a unique purpose to be challenged and tested to our limits. But in that room, JKP 204, that I regard as a mini United Nations, we saw all of our differences being diluted by our supreme desire to make this year one of the best years of our lives. And yes, we conquered. So, why are we here today? Why did we decide to go through all of this? A good question, right? Because there's 48 individuals in front of you all, folks. They know what the taste of victory is like. Some of you in the audience might be curious, what happened the last 12 months? So here's a brief summary, very brief. 1 year ago, in the first term, we realized with 95% of confidence that our current assets, especially the cash flow, was decreasing. However, our intangible assets, I mean our intellectual property, which is a perfect inelastic variable, right, was rapidly increasing. In term 2, we finally found a method to operate the long line of exams, assignments, team projects, and career service activities. However, we started to wonder if we were global, international, transnational, multi-domestic students, you know. Professor Voigt, help us again. After the winter break, I thought our life would be back to normal. Silly me. It was not easy to negotiate a good deal with Professor Ibrahimi, since our bet was close to zero. But among GDP growth and interest rates, financial crisis, and a lot of truco rounds, not me, Leandro and Marcelo, they are professionals, also Scott, they are professionals, okay? We learned that we must have courage to lead. What else? Set the agenda, network and influence people, enable others. Chica, I think Leandro is still available, okay? Or, as Professor Voigt says, expect to get fired. When we met Professor Levantan again in term 4, guess what? We found out that this MBA left us with a high beta, completely leveraged, and only with negative cash flows. My goodness. At least we were confident that our net income forecast would produce a generous valuation for the upcoming years. But in between all of this, we spent fruitful days in China. We went to Seattle. We tried fruits from different countries. And of course, you all had the privilege to taste the best meat ever. The Brazilian no, sorry, there is a typo here, folks. No, it's a typo. I meant the Brazilian picanha. Well, this MBA, folks, made us not only better business professionals, but better human beings. Quite frankly, the best asset you can carry from this chapter of our history is, of course, all the techniques we learned, but most importantly, the ability to find a common ground without compromising our beliefs. The world is much smaller for us now, folks. In our Babel Tower, we learned how to embrace different cultures. Now, we are prepared to extrapolate outside the USC campus. As a Brazilian, Tóquio is no longer in the other side of the globe. Right, Saori? And you know why? Because we don't simply have classmates in this room, folks. We have friends. We have lifelong friends. Men and women we can reach out in Seoul, Tokyo, Moscow, Shanghai, São Paulo, Mexico, and New York, and call them for a chat. And remember, this ocean of fire we crossed and in which we forged together. I usually say to people that it's better to be the worst among the best than the best among the worst. When we cross that exit door by the end of this night, I want you all to recall the famous quote from Sir Isaac Newton. If I've seen further than others, it's by standing upon the shoulders of giants. Now, standing on this stage, I am sure that even after hundreds of long nights and diapers changed, now Mr. Ali understands what I'm talking about, right, Ali? And then also Mr. Una, you will understand soon. Now we can see further from each other's shoulders. However, my friend, today is not the end of the story, Professor Ansari. Definitely it's not. I want you all to remember that this night as the one that marked the passage for a brighter future. A future where we do business with ethics for the well-being of our society and the local communities. Because business without brains is dangerous, but business without ethics is deadly. Tomorrow morning, when you all wake up from this long dream, I hope that even if you can remember a single word for what was said tonight, you can at least recall General Júlio César words and repeat. Vini, vidi, and vici. We came, we saw, and we conquered. May we all continue to be blessed. Thank you all, new Masters of Business Administration graduates, and thank you all, and fight on!
Beno, that was a terrific speech. Now, our good friend and colleague Roy Herberger has heard 92 commencement speeches. Roy, perhaps on your next commencement speech, you could bring in a little bit of that, we came, we saw, we conquered. And the IBER 39 class has clearly followed Julius Caesar's prescription.